Hi everyone. Um, Today I am joined by finally. I love how when I asked you to if you would want to join the podcast, you were like, okay, yes, instantly. Like, don't even have to ask. Let's go. I'm joined with Rebecca Oloo. Sorry, how do you pronounce it? Oloo?
Oloo. The other O is
Oloo.
silent.
Okay, silent.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Um, Strategic designer, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
Ah, okay. This part. Okay,
This
my
part.
name is Rebecca Oloo. I am a strategic design consultant. I am the founder of Raw Inspired Designs. I've been a designer for 15 years now, and I've worked with um, entrepreneurs, development organizations, small businesses. I've won a couple of awards over the years, which still feels surreal to me. Feels like somebody else did it, you know. Because to be honest, this is a one-man show. So,
Mm.
it's been like that for a while. It's only now that I'm slowly starting to expand as I go along. I've worked with different organizations like the African Union, the European Union, Data Lab Africa, Concept Africa, etc. And my mission is basically just creating a lasting impact through the work that I do by telling stories that basically inspire people and kind of make dreams come true. It sounds all utopia like, but
I
yeah,
yeah, it
that's what.
does, but it is what you do. It is what we do.
Yeah,
It's a lot of utopia.
exactly. Yeah, it is. But yeah, that's what I do. So
Hmm.
I feel like if I find myself in a specific room, I just make it count. Whatever it is, I just try to bring my best self, and I figure it out as I go along. One step at a
Yeah,
time. That's me,
that's a
basically.
lot of
That's why
entrepreneurship
I didn't
though.
even
Just
ask.
figuring,
That's why I didn't even ask when you were like, "Do you want to do the pod?" I was like, "Yeah, duh, let's do it."
just go.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, this is exactly what entrepreneurship is figuring out a lot of things as you go along. Because yeah, there are schools you can go to college for entrepreneurship, but eh, the things that you have to learn to actually be successful in it, you have to learn on the ground, bootstrapped.
yeah, exactly.
I haven't asked this. Yeah, I've never asked this before, like even in our private calls. Um,
Yeah.
what, like, how did you start out? Like, I want you to give us, well, me, um, an
Mm.
overview of sort of how your life panned out, like from, I don't know how long, ago you want to start from and from now and to now. I mean,
Um. Okay. I'll give you like clips.
yeah.
It doesn't take too long. Okay, so I obviously grew up in Kenya. After Kenya, we left, moved around quite a bit, and then landed in South Africa. And then while we were in South Africa, I studied, did my last few years of high school. Then from there, to be honest, I kind of always knew what I wanted to do from a very long time ago. I didn't know what it would look like, but I always knew that I wanted to, first of all, be run my own business, and then
Mm.
second of all, I knew I wanted to work in media. Um, but then it was magazine stage, so I was all, curious about it. And then there was Devil Wears Prada, and I was like, I want to do that, you know. And then went to Nelson Mandela Bay University, and they were doing. I initially wanted to do architecture, which is ironic, and then I couldn't get in. I know, and I ended up trying out. I was like, okay, if I can't do that, let me see what else they have. And then they had media communication and culture. So I went and started studying about media, understanding how it runs and whatnot. And um, then I streamed into graphic design, specifically for corporate communication. So when I started doing that work, I was the only designer in the class who didn't have the gear. So I would have to stay late in class after everybody's gone to do my assignment. And I'd stay up until 1 in the morning to a point where even the security guards knew me. They'd be like, "Hey, hey, how you doing?" Late nights. I'm like, "Yeah, one of those kind of things." And because where the studio was is where all the videographers were and the architecture students and all of that. And it ended up being that I was that designer that they would come to do their posters and all of that stuff. And then it led into me freelancing for NGOs because someone just mentioned my name. I think my whole life it's just been referral. It's been
Uh-huh.
one person saying one thing over and over. So did that for a while. Finally graduated. I did a lot actually in between, but that's a whole other story. And then when I got my once I graduated, now I had to find work. So I wanted to work in an agency. I first I did an internship with like one of the best agencies in Port Elizabeth, Boomtown. Loved it. It's got like so much character. It was like fun. It was like the place everybody wanted to work. So I
Mm.
got an internship for a week there, and I was sold. I was like, oh, I need to work here. Then when I applied and got rejected, they were like, nah, you don't have enough skill, and I was so shattered. And then I looked everywhere, didn't get any work, and now the clock is ticking. I have to figure something out. And then I got there was like a short job that posted on the site, who is ironically my mentor now. My first boss is now my mentor, and he was starting up his company. It was then like a new tablet that he was launching, which was a big deal then.
Mm.
And I was like, okay. So he's like, yeah, we're gonna do this together. And it was the first marketing campaign I ever ran, fresh out of school. It was social media marketing. I had no clue what I was doing. I kind of just figured it out as I went along. We ended up doing radio and TV and social media. It did quite well. I think I did that for 4 months. Then, meanwhile, I really just wanted to work in agency. Like, I wanted an agency experience.
Mm.
So I got the agency job in a creepy way. I I
That rang a bell.
I saw I saw the post and I'm like, okay, I want to apply for this. So I asked my friend then I'm like, should I do this? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So I went for the interview. Um, she said no the first time. I was like, okay, and I came back the next day afterwards and I sat on her stoop. And then she's like, I thought I told you okay. And I'm like, okay. And I went back. I went back. I think I did that for 7 days in a row until she got tired of me and officially gave me the interview. And then I did the interview with her, and then she's like, for your perseverance and determination, I think you're a good person to have on the job. So I was like, so that's how I got the work. I walked in and I think I had to resign my previous job, and he was
Mm.
like, no, I'll give you more money and whatnot. I was like, I really just want to work in agency. No offense,
Mm.
but that's all I want to do. So he was like very supportive and said, okay, if you need anything, I'll still be here for you and whatnot. You've got a lot of potential. Whatnot. So I was like, okay, bye. And I left. Um, started working in agency. It was actually a very crappy start. I walked into studio full, bush-eyed and excited. And the first thing she introduced me as was, "Hi, everybody. This is the designer who can't design. Welcome." And I was just like, I will never forget that. I was so shattered. I was like,
Girl,
what?
what?
Why? And then it was awkward because the studio had all the designers against the walls and stuff, and I'm standing in the middle. She introduces me and walks out, and I'm like, "Hi." And then because
Hello?
it was such an awkward
Oh,
environment,
there you go.
everybody was like, "Okay, come sit here." Um, it's fine. Just stay there, do this and whatnot. And the
Hello?
other designers
Hello?
ended up being the ones introducing me.
I think you just
And
lost. Okay.
that went
Go
quite
ahead.
well. I started working with them. When I started working there, the designers I worked with were like super supportive. The one guy who now works with IBM as a senior executive, he taught me everything I know about web design. He was like, I'll make sure that you're one of the best, so don't worry about it. So he taught me everything I knew about web design. The graphic designers there would show me, like, they would teach me new things, um, like new skill sets, and whatever I didn't know, I just put in the extra time to learn and whatnot. Then I started working on corporate gigs, like development projects. So I would start new campaigns with new development companies, and we would run those. That's when I started doing publication design, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. Then that turned into pitching a publication, turned into my mind working. Like they would start telling me what their issues were. And during the meetings, you're supposed to be there as a designer, shut up, listen, and leave, you know? But I couldn't keep quiet. So I would be in the meetings and be like, how about you try this, and that? And my boss would look at me like, why are you telling? I'm like, no, like what they want doesn't make sense for what it is they're trying to achieve. So how about we actually just figure something else out? Then social media was still coming up, so I was like, okay, how about we try a new campaign? And we started. That's when I started officially like um, doing social media campaigns. And then my role changed from just a junior graphic designer to social media manager, campaign manager. And then from there, because I was one of the only two designers who could do web design, then I became senior web designer. So I moved up in 2 years in the agency that I started as the designer who cannot design because I was determined to prove everybody wrong. I was like, I will show you, you know. So yeah, so I did that for a while, and I think I hit a ceiling. I was like, it got to a point where I didn't get a opportunities to do what I felt like I needed to do. So there was no leeway to, change and move, that sort of thing. And the seed started planting. Like, I think I can do this on my own. And I was like, no, but how's that gonna work, And then I was like, okay, now, because I used to work so closely with the agency boss then, I I paid attention to how everything was running and what she was doing and mistakes she was making and things I thought we could do better, you know. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I'm still working for somebody else. Then I got pregnant with my son, and it was just like, I think that's when the cracks started showing because now I became an inconvenience. I couldn't do what they needed me to do all the time. I couldn't travel as much and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I need to figure something else out. Um, Now, when you work in an agency by contract, you can't work for another agency for I think it's like 90 days or something like that. It depends, but that was my contract at the time. And you can't share the same skill set or information. So if you leave, then you have to go somewhere else before you can actually do design again. So I decided to be strategic about my exit. I know people, yeah, it was yeah, there was some weird clauses in that contract, very weird clauses. So, then I got an opportunity to work in a natural pharmaceutical company, and they gave me as an in-house graphic designer. I was like, oh, I can do that. There's no conflict of interest there. So I did that. I did that for also another 2 years. But while I was doing that, I was starting RAW. So I could, yeah. So now I could do my business on the side while trying to figure out everything that was going on. And I was like trying to navigate what is it supposed to look like, etc. So I started doing events like at a park. So I did like this live yoga event, um, which brought in, I think it was about 50 people on the first try. On the busiest day in Port Elizabeth was a Comrades Marathon, which was like everybody was like, "How did you pull that off?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just put it out there." So we did that. It went quite well. And then I don't know, like things just didn't gel. Then I hit a very low point. My life fell apart. Um, went through a separation, lost my job. Um, and then I ended up just moving back to where my mom stayed. Packed everything and just moved back. Was depressed for like 3 months on the couch with a laptop and didn't do anything. And then I remember specifically one of these days, I was sitting on the couch watching reruns, of, some flick or whatever in my gown. And my older brother walks past me and he's like, "It's time to do something. You've done this long enough." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I've tried applying." And he's like, "No, no, no, you've got a business. Make it work." I was like, "Oh, yeah, actually." Then he gave me my laptop and he walked away. And then I took my laptop, opened it, and I was like, "Okay, where do we start?" Like, "Okay, let's just build a website." So I started building a website. Then I started marketing on social media. And then it was weird because I was just authentic about who I am. Hence the I am Raul. That started a long time ago. Um, and I just decided the right people will find me. And it just started that way. I started very little. I started doing like small work for NGOs, but then I was doing it because I really loved the work. And because I was home, I didn't have the rent stress and all of that stuff. All I had to do was just take care of my son at the time. And it was just there was a lot of chaos going on. So I was like, let me just focus on this one thing. So this became the thing that would get me out of bed. So I would wake up and be like, okay, what are we doing today? And if there was nothing happening, then I would find something to do. I would go out somewhere or I'd figure something out. At some point, I was part owner in a wine business. Then I did, um, I did, I worked with the De Beers Mines. They sponsored a magazine for entrepreneurs that I put together with a couple of radio hosts. Then I did Future Females, where I was an ambassador for small businesses and I helped them with branding, all while still running my business. So I was using all these channels to market my business, um, to market what I do. And people would start asking questions of, "Hey, what is it that you do? What do you do?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually a designer." And they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" And then because I did some free work here and there, I made relations with um, radio host owners of radio stations. So they would give me free airtime, which was, yeah. So I used that to market specific things. Then it would build up to a point where I was doing like live speaking engagements here and there. And then at some point, a friend of mine became um, president of the National Rally Championships. And then he pulled me into he's like, "Do you want a partner? We need to rebrand. We can't afford to pay you, but we can definitely give you TV time and marketing on all the sporting channels." I was like, "That's fun. Let's do that." And then I jumped in. That ended up being a 3-year thing, which boosted my business even more because now people are like, "Who is this woman?" Because I was the first black female partner in the NRC. So now it caught the attention of people like, well, who, how did she, what's the story kind of thing. And then that brought in more people, and because people were curious, and it was like an unconventional way, it was like completely out of the norm. Um, people would ask questions, and now they were curious. They wanted to see what I was doing, and I just went from there. Like it just started building up step at a time. Um, Granted, I was battling with a lot of personal, like about my mental health struggles. And each time I was just like, this, what I'm doing now, is what kept me sane. And it kept me on the level, obviously, and my kids. But this was the thing that I woke up to do every single day. And I'm still doing that now, basically. But yeah, please jump in. I feel like I've been talking long. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was with the NRC, one of the people there that I was introduced to was Matt, who's the driver of the car I sponsor. And he was fresh out of the boat. This was all a dream for him. He was like, I still want to do rally. I want to be a driver and whatnot. And I was very new, and so he showed me the ropes around the NRC. Like he would help me with getting the right shots, getting the right stories, the highlights and whatnot. Because if you do a live rally, it's very quick. There's no stopping. You have to get from this stage to that stage. You have to record what the times are, who the car is, who the driver was, etc. But because I was very real, it was very new for me. He was there like right through the whole weekend. It was like a 4 day thing. And every morning, we'd wake up at 6 in the morning, would finish at 10 o'clock at night. And it was insane. It was absolutely insane. So during those moments, he would talk to me and tell me what his dreams were, like what he wanted to do. And then I'd joke around. I was like, maybe someday I'll be able to sponsor you. Let's just see what happens. And then we talked on and off for every other year. And then last year we spoke. I got more opportunities last year with a few businesses, and I was in a position now where I was like, I can actually fund this because I asked him, "What do you need?" You know, and he's like, "No, I just need specific parts in his car." And I was like, so I tried to get him other sponsors, but it didn't work out. And then I was like, you know what? I'll invest in you. And he was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, we've spoken about this. Let's do this. I mean, what do we have to lose?" And he was like, "Okay, let's just see." So I don't think he took me seriously at first. He was just like, "Yeah, sure, let's see what happens." So yeah, okay. So he basically told me what he needed. We put like a contract together. We chatted for a while. I think it took like 2 weeks. Yeah, so he let me know about everything that he needed for the rally, and we I calculated everything, spoke to my finance guy, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, we can actually do this, because we have specific bracket every year of businesses that we sponsor." So I was like, "Okay, so let's do this." Yeah. It's part of the things that I wanted to always do is give back every year. I always have a few companies that I give back to because that's how I got my startup. So it's like pay it forward kind of thing. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I think it was 2 weeks. We sorted everything out, sent it to him. Next thing I know, he's like, okay, we'll get the branding of the car done. So I was like, okay, so with how the rally works, depending on how much you sponsor, they give you like a section of the car that you brand, and then they tag you in their campaigns and that sort of thing. And obviously, however many views they get is how many eyes are on your logo and on your brand. Now, there's like the smaller sponsors, and then you have your what's it called again? There's a specific word they use, but like the main highlight sponsor, right?
Oh,
I
primary?
never, yes, your primary sponsor, yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that, it's just a little part of a car, so I'll probably get like a
Hmm.
little sticker, but something I want to do. Um, so he told me, no, send me all your vector files for your logo. I'll get everything done and let you know. Our first race was um in February, that week of February. I still have to do highlights for that. So we did that, and he sent me photos of the car, and I just saw my branding everywhere, and I was like, wait, hang on, what's happening? And he tells me, yeah, no, I told you that you're like my main sponsor. And I was like, no, but there's Castrol and all these other people. What do you mean? And he says, no, you are my main sponsor. And I was like, okay. And it took me like,
Oh, okay. So yeah, they never told you.
no, I didn't know. I had no idea.
Ah.
They just showed me the car and I was like, wait, but I'm main sponsor, like I'm main category sponsor. And he's like, yeah, because you believed in the dream that I had. So I figured like I want to give back to you. So this is it. And I was like, I was blown away. I won't lie. I cried like full on tears because it's like, it's something that I never thought would be possible, and it was just because I believed in what someone was doing, So we did Motocross X in Killarney International Racetrack in Cape Town, and out of 6 cars, we came in third place for our first debut race, which was like,
Nice.
it was so exciting. I
That
know,
first debut race. Yo,
yeah, and
that's good.
it was like, it was fun because he had all these purple pink logos on his car, and everybody's like, who is that lady? Like, who sponsored that car, And the whole team was so happy, and they were like, they started saying that I was their lucky charm, because he hadn't
Uh,
raced in 2 years, so that was also his first race. So yeah, so that happened. Um,
that
that
happened for
happened.
sure.
Yeah, it's still. I think it hasn't fully registered yet, and it's probably why I haven't like done the newsletter for it. I've like it's typed in everything. I'm just like, it just feels surreal. Like I have the footage, I have everything. I just need to get it out there. You know how I am. I take my time. It's weird for me to brag about things I'm doing, and it's just like, yeah, I'm doing that. So what? You know.
You gotta be, what's her name? Miranda Priestley whenever you're walking in the
Oh, well,
track now.
oh yeah, hey, like I'm working on that. We still have a couple of races that I want to like physically be present for. But he's gonna let me know when they are,
Mhm.
and maybe I'll do more live footage when we do that. So yeah, but that's one of the fun things I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, totally. Gosh, that's amazing. I love how you said like before about how your business is what kept you up every morning, is what woke you up, is what got you going throughout the day. Because for a lot of entrepreneurs, that is what not only what gets them up, like what gets their mind up, but also they sort of have
yeah,
to,
yeah,
you know, because they have to maintain the lifestyle, they have bills to pay, and but besides that, it's something that pulls you, that compels you to just move forward
yeah,
day after day, year after year to get things done. And it's exactly how you said it. If there was nothing to do, you would find something to do
yeah,
because that's exactly what you need to do. You have to find things to get done because each day that you're not doing anything, this also depends on what you
mm,
define as not doing anything. But each day you're not working on your business or not working on even just yourself is a day not only wasted, but a day
true,
used for regression.
yeah,
It isn't just you stay still. Like it's something that makes you go back, which to me at least is sort of
yeah.
scary because I don't want to go back to like, I've been through enough to get here. Like I
I
don't want
don't
to
think I would want
go.
to go back. Like it's um just been through too much, Like I've been through way too much to get here. And
hmm Yeah.
whenever I feel in any way, shape, or form, I feel like this is a regressive um even in projects, I feel like this is regressing me, it's not building me up, it's making me feel because we're designers, we're empaths, so
hmm
we work with like emotions and stuff. So whenever I work on a project and I feel like this is not, I don't feel like it's adding value to me as a person, and I don't feel like um, it's moving me as a business forward, or um, in my headspace, it's starting to affect my headspace. I would much rather walk away. It would be hard, but I'd rather do that
Mm,
than be fake. You know what I mean? Like it's so my mental health is so
hmm.
important to me.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand. I would walk away from $1 million for my mental health easily, um, easily. Like,
Oh yeah.
mhm,
Same. Same. Because a lot of me being sort of, well, I try to be religious, and in terms of mental health, a lot of the times your mental health is a good sign of either you not dealing with things or
yeah,
just just something that God doesn't want you to do. So even if it's $1 million, $1 billion, if there's something going on in your mental headspace that's stopping you from getting that thing, it's either that you don't
yeah,
deserve it
yeah,
or it's not for you. Not in a negative way, it's not for you, but in a good way even. Like it's saving you from whatever will happen when you do pursue or get that thing.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you completely, and I actually now follow that too hard. Before I used to push and get it done. You can do it, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's not that
Yeah.
now I'm just like, yeah, no, it's okay. Thanks.
There's certainly a
Goodbye.
place for it, right? There's a
Yeah, yeah,
place for
yeah,
sort of pushing hard, especially when it comes to the side of our mental health that's sort of self-deprecating.
yeah,
When it comes to narcissism or when it comes to just outright laziness, especially for me, like lack of discipline,
yeah,
you just have to sort of push through. But like I get the temptation a lot to use the mental health card. And a lot of people use sort of their mental health to cop out of sort of an outcome or the consequences of their actions. But what are
yeah.
your thoughts on doing, using the mental health card or how do you deal with that? How do you grapple with that balance or the need for the balance to do that?
Um, I think it's a lot of um, I think it's a lot of self-awareness. I think you
Hmm.
can know when, okay, I'm not being real right now. I think I'm just being lazy, because I should have just had
Hmm.
a nap or something like that. But then you also know when it's like if you can if you can actually get out of bed to do something, then you're
Hmm.
okay. You're okay enough to try one thing that day, you know? And that's how I go about it. If I pull myself out of bed and go and sit and I still can't do that thing, then I know I'm not okay. Like even the most simplest
Hmm.
task, like responding to an email or something like that. And I just feel like in my headspace right now, it's not happening. And that happened to me
Hmm.
the first week of the year, the first and second week of the year. I was not in a good space. And um
Hmm.
I knew it. I was like, I know I'm not okay. I know that if I push to do specific things right now, I'm going to crash even worse. And it leads you
No.
to make, there's some hard decisions you just have to make. And there's some things that you just have to own. Like there are times where you own, like I know there are plenty of times I've messed up, like where I've messed up either in work or generally. But when you accept that and then you just look and assess the situation and just knowing who you are as a person and knowing that um where in this particular space right now, I am not okay. Or with this particular project or with this particular thing, yeah, I messed up there. Yeah, that was all me. I could have done blah blah blah, but I couldn't. But then there also comes times where I feel like people do take advantage of kindness or of your time, and it does happen. And they
Yeah.
will. My mom always says this thing: if you give someone a finger, they'll take an arm. But it is up to you to decide how much it is that you're willing to give, you know? And if it starts crossing a
Yeah.
boundary, especially
Hmm.
like for me personally, as a single mom, the one thing I have done or have been trying to do the most is do more me and do more of my kids and then my business. And before it was the other way around. It was always my
Mm.
business, then my kids, then me. But then I realized if I'm not okay, then all this other stuff, it won't work out either way. I won't be a present mom. I won't
Yeah.
be like my business will probably fall apart, whatever. And then also just being accountable of when you mess up. It's like, okay, messed up there, can fix it here, or let me just, I'll let this thing go and I'll just do
Hmm.
better on this side kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say just being aware of who you are as a person, and then also just assessing and being intentional and consistent about the things that you are doing, and just
Mm.
uh, just if you need to just take time off, do it. Like work will always be there, like it's it's not the end of the
Ha.
world. Like
Yeah.
honestly, yes, you might lose specific
Yeah.
things or specific projects or specific clients, but someone will come. There'll always be someone out there. Like what is
Yeah.
what is
That's
it?
true.
Susie Ashworth. She says, your tribe will find you. Yeah. She says your tribe will find you always. So I believe in that now more than ever. And it's like it is what it is. And we just keep it pushing.
Exactly. I think I totally 100% agree because a lot of the times it is you just have to take a step back and look and be just self-aware and like really brutally honest with yourself if and see the lay of the land in terms of your headspace because a lot of the times when you take that step back you'll see whether it really is something to be attributed to
Yeah.
you 100% if it's 100% your fault or if it's half this half that or if it's 60/40 70/30 this or that and a lot of the times it's a mixture of it isn't just one thing. It's a multivariate sort of
Yeah.
complex problem, mental health, that especially when you factor in business or entrepreneurship, when you factor in client relations, when you factor in time management, and especially for you, a single mother, your kids, um, it's, it isn't a one. This is what this is another thing I hate about sort of the entrepreneurial sort of side of social media. They always posit this sort of one solution thing for every single problem, like as if problems are this just come from this one source. Some do,
Mm,
but most don't at all. And complex problems are highly unlikely to have
true.
one source and are highly unlikely to be able to be
Mm,
solved by just one solution. And by one, especially if one side or both sides of any argument sort of stay firm in their beliefs without any compromise or
yeah.
without any
Very true.
empathy to the other
I
side,
agree completely.
which is which is so much of sort of the social media entrepreneurial mindset space. Like a lot of it is, oh, you should do this, you should meditate more, you should do like that can be like that's fine if it's like
Yeah.
general advice you're giving out on social media. But if that's what you're giving to like what on one-on-ones,
Mm,
that's not very helpful. Like, but especially when it comes to one-on-ones, you should have at least some sort of capacity to not only be empathetic with the person on the other side of the screen, but also
mm,
to ask the right questions. Like even this comes up even in when on discovery calls with clients, like you need to ask the right questions so that they can truly tell you what their problems are, and then so that you can truly diagnose and give them a solution.
mm.
Whether if it's your solution or for them to go to another person or even just, get free
Yeah.
products or watch a YouTube video because a lot of the times it is just that. Um, but yeah,
No,
just blank.
I fully agree with you because like I'll give an example. One of the people I'm working with now is he's a
Mhm.
creator, he's a DJ, and he wanted me to help him with his branding. And it's interesting because during that discovery call that we had, our first one, um, he realized more of who he actually was in that call itself. And it was such an interesting experience
Mm.
because um he's a very like super confident person. He's very confident, like obviously for what he does, he has to be. And he's also very good at what he does. At the same time, he also
Yeah.
has like specific insecurities because of the fact that he is an albino, and he does have like visual impairment and stuff like that. So there's certain aspects of him that, you know,
Ah.
but at the same time, I like what I was telling him during the call was like, you do realize that that is your superpower. The fact that you are different, the fact that you have all these speed bumps and roadblocks, and that's something that you can actually capitalize on. And in that call itself, um, you could see the
Hmm.
aha moments that he was having because there were so many moments of quiet, and he's like, shit, I didn't think about that. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually true. But when you're on the outside looking in, like you see your clients, like it's something that I used to say a lot. I take a step in your shoes, especially as a strategist, like a design strategist. I have to take a step inside your shoes because I have to understand what it is that you want
Yeah.
and also what your audience needs at the end of the day and what your goals are, you know? And I've been having a couple of these because
Yes.
another thing I'm doing is I'm mentoring um, like 16 institutions in Lesotho with Gem and Kathy. And it's hectic, but I have with each one of them, I have
Ah.
these branding discovery sessions, and I had 15 last month. Hence, I've been a ghost online. I'm just busy. And these sessions, you see people, it's like an onion. Like you see people open up and discover themselves as they go on. And I love it. Like it's so cool to have that opportunity to do that. And
Mhm.
it's at the same time, I also have to be mindful of the fact that these are still human beings. Yes, they want to pursue these goals and they want to get all of these done. Um, but I can also relate to them because I was where they were and I can understand from where they're coming from. So my approach is always softer.
Mm.
It's not like blanket textbook. Okay, you are doing this, so you must focus on that, etc. It's like I hear what they need, and then from there, I'm like, okay, based off of that, I what you've told me and what I think works for you, then I think you should go in this direction. And I realize the more I'm doing that, I actually enjoy the mentoring side of things. Like um it's rewarding in a way. Like I'm able to give back things that I've put in the time to build and grow
Hmm.
in over 15 years. To now I can give it to somebody else, but I'm hearing it with a different ear. I'm not hearing it in a
Hmm.
I'm just a business trying to give you some advice. I'm hearing it as I'm a person. I hear where you are. I understand, and um, we can go forward
Yeah.
from this place, etc. And I, it's
Hmm.
it's a touch and go because there's some businesses who aren't like that,
Hmm.
and then there's some where you just have to be a robot and just get it done, and then there's some businesses and
Hmm.
individuals like
Yeah.
with the DJ I'm working with and all these other enterprises where you have to be a human, and work with them as human beings. So it's like it's it's interesting, but sometimes they say
Mm.
designers are bipolar.
It's why do I relate to that so much? Oh, okay. Getting diagnosed with a podcast. Let's go.
But it's like you keep having to switch to be this person or that
Hmm.
person,
Yeah.
and then everybody wonders why at the end of the day you're exhausted. It's like I had to
Maybe
play
not
5 different
bipolar.
roles today.
BID.
Like the yeah, or that. Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Yeah. So it's like I have to step into so many different shoes I
Oh
just
yeah.
want to switch up and be me at the end of the day. I don't feel like anybody else right now. But it's just it is what it is. I went on a tangent
That's
there.
true.
You have my
Exactly.
point.
Yeah. hmm
Okay.
And a lot
But
of
yeah,
that's why one of the big things I envy with um employees of creative agencies are that they can specialize and sort of just stay in their box and just do this thing and
yeah,
barely like face clients or other businesses, so they can just sort of be in the zone.
yeah,
Um, we can't. The thing is, us being business owners is sort of us being in the zone in a way. Like it isn't like we're not the creative types to just do the creative work. We have to have the business side. We have to have the independence to be in that zone, whatever
yeah,
the zone is.
yeah, exactly. And I've realized
hmm
more than everything, um, it was actually, yeah, it was a sudden realization that I can't work with clients who assume I'm their employee.
Mm,
I can't do it.
gosh, yeah.
It's whew,
Mm-mm.
that drives me up the wall. I'm just like I can't do it. It irritates me because when I start working with you, I work with you as a partner and we're walking this thing together.
Yeah,
And once you reach the destination you need to reach, we part ways. And it's all
yeah.
good and we go on. The moment you start treating me like an employee, it's like it's just mental shutdown.
What's funny is most business owners start their business because they want the independence, they don't want to be the employee, and they want to solve a problem. And when we have clients, the clients are typically business owners who have the same sort of mindset where I don't want to be an employee. Why in God's green earth do they think that they can treat other business owners as employees? Like, do they not have that? Is it just a disconnect in empathy or something?
I feel like it's oh, what's the word? It's like I forgot the word. It's like a superiority complex kind of
Mm.
thing. I finally had the power. You know what I
Ah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So instead of, I mean, I've worked in companies where I was just like, oh my God, I can't do this, and leadership sucked.
hmm
But when I left those places, I was like, I now know what not to do with people that I work with.
Exactly. Exactly my thoughts
You
too.
know?
Remember our first, well, not our first, the only IG live that we
Yeah,
did like
yeah.
what is it, 2 years ago? Gosh, it was a long time.
Yeah, like,
Um,
geez, yeah, actually, wow,
I can't believe I've seen two. Um,
it's amazing. It's actually been 2 years. Wow, okay, yeah,
yeah. When I mentioned that, I just had came out of employment, from a call center agency. And I was like fine with the job. Like I was not enjoying it, but it was, it was a lot of fun.
yeah,
But the reason why I left is because of the leadership. And the number one thing that I got from there is one that I can have a job and like, and I can like commit to like a certain time or shift, even if it's like in the middle of the night, the shift, and and not be like absent any day. Like I was just straight work, same time, same leave, just every single day for like 4 months.
yeah.
And I sort of discovered that in myself that, oh, okay, I could do that, first of all. And second, I know what not to do.
Mm.
I know how not to structure leadership. I know how not to, um, not only treat employees, but also treat managers and those higher ups. Because a lot of the times, the reasons why management was so horrible was because bonus structures were predicated on performance. And a lot of that is founded from sound, robust business practice. But the thing is, when it's dependent on the performance of the lowest sort of ranking employees, which was what I was, and which was what most of
Mm.
us were, they can get
Yeah,
abusive so that they can get the bonus. And even worse is because there was three levels, me, or the people like me. our immediate managers, and then the managers of the managers. Um, the managers of the managers, they were like on our specific
Mm.
site, like area, there were like five of those. Um, they would have this sort of internal, under the table sort of bet every month of who could get the bonuses. Um, and then they would each bet like basically it's just a huge amount of money. Like they would
Yeah.
sort of pool it, and then whoever got the bonus on that month would get that sort of pool of money.
What? Are you
That,
kidding
to be
me?
honest, do whatever you want. To be honest, do exactly do whatever you want. Just don't. Why are you pressuring us to do the work for you? And we're not even gonna get the pool money. Like, hello? None of that is gonna go to us who actually worked hard. And well, the biggest lesson that I learned there is just
Lord, I think I lost you there.
not to set things up the way they set things up because they did the pool. They get whoever among the five managers won the bonus, they would get the pool, but that would not go to the lower employees. That was just for them. But they're using that as an impetus to put pressure on the managers below them and on the sort of lowest level employees to get performance
I'm
metrics
dumb.
up when we would have absolutely nothing to do with the underhand deals that they were doing. So it was just absolutely crazy. But what I learned from that was how not to structure the company
Mm.
at like just
Yeah.
completely not like them because not only was it bad for the employees, but it was also bad for the bottom line of the company because employees were in absolutely bad health because of the stress. Because imagine your shift being the graveyard shift. So from 8 or 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. Your sleep is going to be horrible because sleep during the day is just different from sleep during the night. And and so your health will be shattered by that point.
Yeah.
Your mental health will go along with it. So how do you think they're going to perform since we're a call center agency? How do you think they're going to sound to the customers? How do you think they're going to think when customers have a problem and they're just sort of blanking during the call and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because a lot of the complaints of the, what was it, QAs, quality assurance sort of side of the
Yeah.
company, a lot of the complaints was there was a lot of blanking, there was a lot of
Yeah. I mean,
like
obviously.
long, and the calls were overly long. Like they normally wouldn't be that long. Well,
Mm.
why do you think that is?
Mm.
So yeah, the bottom line was just I learned how not to structure things and how to not treat people. Basically, this is exactly how what you said. It's the reason, probably why we go through the things that we go through is not just to learn what to do next time, but learn what not to do next time.
Exactly. No, that's very true. Like, even now I have a team of three. So there's um Ava who's like my executive admin and
Executive. Okay.
yes, and my
Yes.
also my social media manager, especially for client projects. And then I have
Mm,
an assistant, and I needed one especially because a social media assistant because um, a specific campaign I'm working on now. One of the books we finished is launching in April, so we're running a campaign, and I can't do everything. So I was like, here,
of course.
you do this. This is what I have in mind, execute. And then, of course, I have Eda, who's my accounts guy, and then everybody else is like outsourced, but he's like a more in-house raw team kind of thing. And with them, I think what they've learned about me is I'm not going to be the monkey on your shoulder at all. Um, I'm gonna tell you what I
Mm,
need. We're gonna sit together, like even that once a week meeting is like 30 minutes long. You know me. I don't want to hack on for long. So I told them, okay, this is all the projects that we have. Um, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is what I think here, here, here. What are your thoughts? And then they'll tell me what they think. And my one rule is just speak up, even if it sounds stupid. Just say whatever it is. It could be an amazing idea.
Hmm.
And now they've gotten so free, even in
Yeah.
client calls, I don't shush them. Like, if I feel like they have something to say, I let them speak, like come in. They have direct contact with the clients because there's some who I'm like, I can't manage this
Hmm.
client because I'm just too swamped with something else. So you take the lead on this project. And I think because of the fact that I trust them so much in the to do the work and to do it well, and um I'm not sitting on their tail about it. The only time that they'll come back to me and be like,
Hmm.
"Hey, what do you think about this? Is it okay to? Does it look like something that makes sense?" And I'll say something like, "Yeah, that's actually cool, but just change this, and that." And then they go back, revise, show it to me again, and then it's done. But because I've given them that freedom to actually think and use their heads, because the reason I
Hmm.
onboarded them is because they have
Yeah.
the skill and because they know what it is that they're doing. And as much as they're working in line or in structure with like a specific project mandate that I gave them, I trust them enough to get it done. And even if like something
Yeah.
goes wrong somewhere, as long as they just let me know, hey, we slipped a bit here, um, but this is like tell me the problem and then give me the solution, you know? Like, okay, we messed up here, but this is what we're gonna do, and
Hmm.
then we're gonna pick up there. And I think another good part is even when I mess up with them, I'll be like, oh, you know what? My bad. It was me. Let me fix it. And I think they appreciate that. Well, from what they tell me, I don't know, maybe they're lying. but but from but from what they tell me, they just I don't like over meddling. Like, just do your job. Like, do your job, get it done, and as long as the job is done and it looks like it makes sense, then we'll move from there. And I feel like it avoids a lot of conflict when you're just straight,
Hmm.
when you don't
Oh yeah.
feel like when you give them the independence to do what they know they can do on their own, even if you were not there. And they all work
Hmm.
remote. I don't see them. Actually, there are weeks where I'm like, I'll text them and I'm like, I don't think we need a meeting this week. I'll see you guys next week. And they're like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. And we leave it because I like, if there's no need for a meeting, we don't need to meet. Go do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
It's
Gosh,
fine,
exactly.
you know, like go chill in the sun and relax, that's okay.
Hmm.
But um if we have to meet, we'll meet. If we don't, we don't. But that's the kind of leader I want to be. I want to give people the freedom and independence to do what they're gifted with and to do it in their
Yeah.
own way, obviously within a structure, but just let them be them, you know? And then if it doesn't look like
Hmm.
something you're happy with, just mold it, mold it and just
Yeah.
panel beat here
Exactly.
and there and be like, okay, fix it here, change it there, or I don't think that really works. This is what I had in mind. Not, I don't think that works.
Hmm.
Figure it out again. It's like you're not giving context. Like you clearly have something
Hmm.
in mind,
Yeah.
so say what it is that you want, then let them go back and do
Yeah.
what you need them to do instead of, yeah, no, go figure it
Exactly.
out.
People can read
Yeah, like,
minds.
oh my God, that irritates me so much. Oh, it annoys me to the bone.
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
just say it.
Yeah.
Like we're not mind readers. Just say what it is that you need. Then you'll
Hmm.
actually get something out of it. Don't just keep quiet and not say
Yeah.
anything, and then there's like a whole tantrum at the end of it, and you're just like, but you didn't tell me what you wanted.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of bosses or just even business owners when it comes to hiring other people or subcontracting, they think, oh, they already know they know what to do. Like, just leave them without any context at all. It's like, there's a job to do. You must have some sort of standard, um, or at least, goals for what this project is supposed to be. Why are you not telling me? Like, it isn't
Exactly.
it isn't so much set the person that you hired up for success. It's more so set them up for success in such a way that the whole project is a success, and thus your reason for hiring them in the first place is a success. But without
Exactly.
like telling them straight, I don't get why business owners aren't just more straight up with how they say things. I do not know where corporate lingo came from.
Mm.
I think it's the most stupid thing in the world. Like what's the language? Let's burn the ocean. Let's
Oh,
circle back on this. Let's take it like what it's I feel like I need a Google Translator to have like on
yeah.
hand when I talk to people like that. Like, doesn't make sense.
It's actually quite annoying, and I've realized also my dialogue changes depending on who I'm working with. Because there's some people who want to
Oh yeah.
hear the jargon and talk corporate and whatnot, and there's some people who are like, just speak to me like a
Yeah.
person. Just tell me what I need to know, and then once it's done, then we can come back and get it finished. And then all that corporate stuff will go
Exactly.
where it needs to go. But with the specific, like with the development side, oh my God, the jargon is like they use such verbose wording, and I'm just like, you could have said that so much simpler. But okay, I understand. Yeah, it's fine. But at the
Yeah.
same time,
And a lot of
I just
mhm.
I, I believe so strongly in just staying authentic. You know, just being you, staying authentic to who you are. Like the way I talk to you
Yeah.
is how I will talk to a client
Exact same.
because
Exactly.
I I want them to know what they're getting into. Not one day they finally
Yeah.
they swipe dial me by mistake, and then all of a sudden Rebecca sounds different. You know, and it's like, who is that person? You know, but
Just completely
at the
different
same time,
accent,
it's so
completely.
exactly, yeah. Like, wait, what? Did I dial the wrong number? But it's not that way. It's like now, like I said, now working with artists, and then I'm working with enterprises, then I'm working with development institutions. I try to just stay like, I mean, you can't bring the same person to the same to different parties, but as long as my baseline is the same, then that's all that matters to me. As long as I know that no matter which room they find me in, then it's going to be, oh yeah, Rebecca. And even if the artist meets the development person, meets the business person, they'll be like, oh yeah, she's the same person right through, instead of a
Hmm.
facade that they meet up. Or even like someone who works with me, they meet up with a client somewhere and it's like, oh, she's such a horrible person. I don't want that. Like,
That would be so horrible.
it would be awkward. Like at least they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I actually work with her and she's like this, and the client says the same thing. I'm happy with that.
Hmm.
But I don't expect that from everyone. There will be people who think I'm a complete asshole because I am
Oh
straight
yeah.
with everything. But it's okay. We're
Yeah.
just not for each other. C'est la vie, you know?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It's part of, as you said, attracting your tribe.
Exactly.
A lot of the things attract a lot of what attracting your tribe is just being the authentic you that you can be. It's sort of like bats with sonar. You just
Mm,
put it out, and then whatever comes back to you is exactly what you put out, and it is what it is.
I love that mentality.
Whoever comes
Yeah.
to you, whoever whoever ends up working with you in the end, whoever becomes your friend, whoever you end up being for the rest of your life, is what you put out.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that you can do to manipulate what you put out, but at the end of the day, is that really what you want to do?
Yeah.
And if you don't like, if you don't like what you put out already, there are things that you can do to change that, but not in a fake, facetious
Yeah.
way where you just be, narcissistic and put on a face mask and just be completely different because most 9 times out of 10, you will attract the people that you don't want to be with
Exactly.
at all.
No, that's very true. I learned that. And also just learning to say no. I think that's one of the biggest things I learned.
Mm,
Just saying no and walking
hmm.
away from something without fearing that this is going to make me look bad, you know? That is something that I take to heart, and I'm just glad that I've come to a place where it's much easier for me to just to like walk away from things, you know. Um, I don't stay where I'm not wanted. That's pretty much it, basically.
Last question, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to. I feel like I'm gonna ask this to each of my guests for some reason because I don't know.
Mm.
It's just that I want to get as much opinions on it as possible. What are your thoughts, especially in your line of work? What are your thoughts on AI?
Um, I don't think it's the enemy at all. Um, I feel like
Same.
I feel like AI is just another tool that we get to
Mm,
use, and I obviously feel like it's dependent on how you use it. Um, you have
yeah.
to obviously ethically, obviously that's important. We have to be able to use it in an ethical manner, but I also feel like we it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that we can just add to what we already have. It's the same way
Mm,
people were scared of what the electricity. Now everybody can't live without it, or mobile phones as well. Having people
exactly.
having too much access to you. Now everybody can't live without it. I think it's similar in that sense where we just have to be mindful of how we use it, as with everything else. Like drinking too
Hmm.
much sugar, you're going to kill yourself, basically. And
Yeah.
with this, just being mindful of how you use it. And I've used it incorrectly, where you like put your ideas in and hope it will spew out everything that you're thinking in a second, and hoping that's it. But if you like, for instance, with like writing, because I am a designer, sometimes you can spew everything out, but you need someone to help you structure. And not everybody can afford a
Mm,
copywriter to sit down and go through your notes and tell you to move things here and there. It's much easier to tell
yeah.
AI, this is what I'm saying. Can you help me structure it in a way that makes sense to this particular audience? Or can you make it make
Mm,
sense
yeah.
in this way? But the main idea is yours. As long as that core
Oh
is
yeah.
yours and you actually put the time in to do the work, then that's where you're using it in an ethical way, and not in a I'm too lazy, write me a 5-page essay on plants, send. Then
Yeah.
that's like, come on. But I don't have an issue with AI at all. I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I have the
Same.
bandwidth to learn everything, but at the same time, it would be nice
Me too.
to have like it'd be nice to have like a team that's focused on AI and how we can use it to help
Mm,
more people. Like help more businesses add
yeah.
value, to like streamline and strategize even more in what they're doing already. Like like I said, the goal is to just make people's dreams come true in their own way, whatever
Come
that
true.
may be. And
Yeah.
if this tool can help them, then why not? That's what I
Hmm. Love that. Love it. And this is exactly what we do. We try to make people's dreams come true. Um,
literally.
Thank you so much. I know you have to leave in like a bit,
Okay.
but thank you so much for for doing this with me. I still want to do this again. I feel like we have to do this every 2 years now or something.
That's a long time. How about every 3 months?
I know, maybe one. Exactly. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.